Hi everyone, I'm Chris, and today I'm going to be working on a few of my bonsai trees. First up today, I'm going to be working on this succulent flower. I'm not really sure what species it is. My neighbor gave it to me as a gift. So I am working on this to get a raft-style. So if you can zoom in all the way down in there, you can see there's a thick woody trunk at the base here, and then there's all these shoots growing up off of it, and all these cool looking aerial roots. So today I'm going to try to focus on separating these trees a bit more and see if I can get them kind of looking a little more bonsai-ish than just a mad mess of weeds. So let's take it one tree at a time. So the first tree is back here, just these handful of shoots. And you can see this is where I pruned it before. And then it's grown another shoot, and then it's grown another shoot at the bottom too. So actually, I am going to take this bottom shoot all the way off. And these all will grow as cuttings. You can see this one's already got roots, so it can grow, but it'll also grow from each of these little clefts in the leaves. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look for an outward facing leaf from the center of the planting to cut to, so that I can try to get a shoot growing in a better direction. And there's one right here, so that's where I'm going to cut it. Okay, and then that pretty much deals with this tree here. I'm going to take off this leaf because it's kind of big and it's interfering with the tree next to it. Okay. I'm also going to take off this aerial root because I don't want an aerial root that high up. Okay, so next up I'm going to be working on this big guy here, the main tree. And I think this one is going to be the main tree in the planting. And as you can see, before I cut it back up here, and it's grown 2 shoots, and as well as a bunch of shoots down here. But I think today I'm actually going to take it back to one of these shoots in here. Now there's already a shoot growing in there, but that's actually growing in the inside, and I don't want it to grow on the inside, so let's scale up in there. That's the shoot that I was talking about. But I don't want it to actually be growing inside towards the inside of the planting. I want it to grow outside. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut it to a couple of leaves above that. Right there. So this one has an outward facing leaf. And I'm just going to cut off that inward facing leaf to hopefully prevent another bud from growing on the inside. I don't know if that'll work, but we'll see. And then I've got all these shoots growing down at the bottom. I think I'm going to take off the couple of lowest ones. Let's get right there. And this guy that's growing too close to the other tree. As well as I think I'll take this one off the inside as well. I don't want any of my branching going towards the inside of the tree. I want it all fanning out from the center. And oh, there's another little sucker coming up at the very base. Get that. That little guy right there. Okay. And that is pretty much it for this tree here now. So again, hopefully one of these leaves up here will develop a shoot outward that I can take advantage of. Let's move on to this guy over here. So again, I got a bunch of these little shoots growing towards the inside. I'll just take this right off. this little shoot as well. And then I've got a couple of outward facing leaves here. There's one here and one there. So you can see one there, one there. So I think I'm going to take it back to this one actually. There we go. And that's pretty much that one. Okay. Now this one here has a ton of shoots on it. I don't know if you can see all those guys. There's one here, there's one here, and there's one there, there's one there. There's a couple down on the inside. But these ones actually are growing on the outside. These are actually growing in the direction that I want the other ones to grow eventually. Oh, kitty cat. So I think I'm actually going to take this one back to say right here and keep this bud as the new leader. So let's go ahead and do that. There we go. And I'm actually going to take off this big leaf as well as this bud growing inside. I think I'm actually going to take off this, because this shoot is already grown out, so I think this leaf is safe to remove, so I'm going to go ahead and take that off. Okay, and I believe that pretty much, there's like, oh, there's one little baby shoot under here that I gotta get rid of, underneath this little aerial root. Go. And next up we got this guy right here, and I may actually make this one the last one in the planting. I might get rid of this one totally, simply because there is 1, 2, 3, 4, this would be the 5th and this would be the 6th tree. So typically in Japanese bonsai group plantings like a raft-style or a forest, you want to have an odd number. I don't really care that much, but because this is actually a small amount, it's pretty obvious that this is an uneven or an odd number. So I think for that reason I'm actually going to get rid of it. Get rid of it totally. And I'm actually going to take this one outside because there's a little spider on it. So I'll give him a new home. See a little spider on there? So, got a little helper here. Okay. Alright, so next I'm going to work on this, what I said was going to be the last tree in the planting. So again, you can see I got all these little shoots growing inside that I'm going to get rid of. This one, take off this little baby guy right there. I'm going to take off this one that's growing inside. And this one as well. Now, I don't really have any advantageous branching that I can take care of, so I might have to do something a little bit more drastic on this one. I think what I'm going to do is there's a couple of shoots growing out here and here, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it off here and hope that something comes out in a better direction in the future. Hopefully, there's a bunch of leaf scars down here, so hopefully, you know, bud grows out here or out here or something like that. But for now, I'm just going to take what I have. And again, I'm getting onto the leaf because the bud's already grown. I'm going to take this one off as well. There's actually another one growing here that's growing out. It shooted out from the main trunk on the bottom side, and then it grew like a little runner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that one out as well. Oh, it's firmly rooted in there, so. And you see how much these things, how readily these things root. Oh, and there's one little baby one too I'm gonna get rid of. Just taking out some of these leaves that fell. Right, they got torn off. Okay. Just gonna do a little bit of cleanup on some of these cuts from earlier. See if I can get them a little bit better looking. Okay, and that is that. One last leaf down here. I don't want to leave the leaves in the pot here. Normally I wouldn't care, but like I said, when these fall on the dirt, they do actually shoot and grow, propagate from fallen leaves. So for that reason, I'm not going to leave any in here because I don't. This is a full planting. I don't need any more. So yeah, so this is the final product here. As you can see. So now we've got our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trees all trimmed up and looking nice. And in the future too, I will hopefully get more buds out of here so I can reduce this one back further. I do want this one to be the shortest tree in the planting, followed by this one, this one, this one, and then this one being the tallest, so that it eventually will form an asymmetrical triangle when viewed from this direction. But it's not quite there yet, so. Okay. So let's move this guy down here and let's move on to our next project. All right, next up today we have my hibiscus tree. Unfortunately, from the last time that I put an update to this on the channel until now, the flowers bloomed. This one specifically bloomed and died before I had a chance to show you guys. But I will put a picture of this of that flower at the end because it was really beautiful. But as I said in the last update video, I do want to actually remove a lot of these flowers before the tree spends all of its energy on them. I want the tree to focus on growing foliage and roots right now rather than flowers. So basically all I'm going to do today is remove all of the flowers. So as you can see, some of them have already kind of died and they're falling off, so I don't have to remove those ones. But like this guy right here that's getting ready to burst, I do need to go in and get rid of it. Same with this guy and this guy, and this was the one that already went off. A couple of these died without actually going off, which I'm surprised, but yeah, better safe than sorry. Okay, so I missed one over here. And that's all the work on the hibiscus bonsai today. There we go. All right, and last up today, we have my California sycamore. And this guy is doing really, really well. Just a quick recap on him. Originally I bought it from a local plant nursery. It was about that tall or so. I actually did a hard prune as soon as I got it a couple months ago, and since then I've been clipping it as the shoots grow along, but I haven't been really doing any major work to it. Today I'm actually going to be taking all of these big long shoots back as far as I can to try to build some ramification and get some branches growing in some better directions than just straight up. So let us work on the bottom first. So there are a couple of shoots down here. I'm going to leave them just in case they develop, because I would like to thicken this trunk up, and that that would help with that, but I'm not going to worry about them right now. This first one here, this first little shoot coming up, actually this one here is the first real branch, but there's nothing going on, so I'm going to leave it alone. This second one here, you can see it goes up, it shoots off, and then there's the big long node, and then there's a bunch of leaves to the tip. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it about halfway between these nodes, so that hopefully this little shoot here develops something better. And then this one here, you can see it's got really dense inner nodes. So whereas this one was about this length, these ones are about that. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm actually just going to take the tip out of that one, since that one's already growing really well. Next up we have this big guy right here. And there's actually two branches coming off of here. Well, it's one branch, but it splits into two, and then it goes up here, and then there's just this big long shoot. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do something a little bit drastic. I'm going to take all of this off right there, because you can see there's no branching or anything to that. It's just a big long straight shoot with a bunch of big old ugly leaves. So hopefully something will come out of here, and then this side of the branch will develop as well, and then we can make some better decisions in the future. Got a similar thing going on over here, except for there actually are two branches growing out of the same spot here. Now, because this little guy isn't a shoot off of this branch, it's actually shooting out from the trunk, not the branch. I don't know if you can see that. You might need to zoom in a bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut this little guy off there. I don't want two buds coming off of the same spot, because that will cause swelling and inverse taper. And I want the taper to be thick at the bottom, and then it to taper up and not go thin to thick. Okay, and then just like that other branch, just like this guy here, this one also is starting to get long and wiry and no branching or anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off. I'm going to take it off here, leaving this big leaf here just because that was the most outward facing one. So hopefully something grows up in this direction. Next we got the thickest branch on the tree here. So we're going to have to do something a little more drastic. Can you pause it? So we're going to have to do something a little bit more drastic on this one today. As you can see, it actually does have a branch coming out here, and I am going to take the tip off of that, leaving this outward facing leaf. And then I may actually Yeah, I think I'm going to do something a bit drastic here. I'm going to take basically the entire thing off, and I'm just going to leave this one leaf going in that direction. So hopefully we get a bit more branching and keep that thick branch from really just dominating the entire tree. Oh, I got this one here as well. And this one, I'm just going to take the tip off. And we got one last one. So you can see this is where I pruned the tip of that shoot before. I'm just going to cut that off. And take the tip off, leaving this to hopefully grow a little bit more straight. This one, I'm hoping to make this one my leader. Although this one may be the leader in the end, or even this one. But for now, I'm going to stick to this one being the leader, and hopefully I'll get another shoot coming up back towards the. In this case, I do want it to grow more towards the center of the tree, because this is going to be my leader. So I don't want it just leaning all the way off to one side. I want it kind of more or less staying straight up. And that's my California sycamore. Alright everyone, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time.